Good afternoon. I hope you are having a great Monday, a great Labor Day, maybe enjoying a little bit of time away from work, relaxing a bit. So we hope you are having a nice weekend. I'm Julie Broughton. This is Take 6. It is 12:30 right now. And if you haven't been with us before, this is when we get together after our new newscast and we get to talk a little bit about some things you might be interested in going on. And a lot of times we preview what we have coming up later today on News 6, but it's a holiday, so we're getting crazy today. We're doing something we don't normally do. We are telling you about an event that you'll want to check out on Wednesday. I know we have so many wrestling fans here in Central Florida, certainly a big hub of wrestling fans. So you're going to be really excited. Who is joining us today? Today we have the co-host of TMZ Sports, the co-owner of Paragon Talent, and the man, the myth, the legend, formerly known as Mojo Rawley, Dean Mojo Muhtadi. Hello.
Julie, good to be back here with you on Take 6 on a holiday. Coming in hot. I love it.
I know. We're so excited you joined us on a holiday. What are you doing with your Labor Day today?
Well, I'm not wearing sleeves today, Julie.
Okay.
I pretty much do that every day. I was hoping you'd match me with the sleeveless look, but one
sleeveless.
of us has to look professional, so I'm glad it's you.
I also don't have on my giant bling, but I'd be disappointed if you didn't have on your huge bling. That's like part of even when I see you at events and you're in a suit, you still have the bling on. So we'd be sad if we didn't have that.
Got to have that mojo rocking all times.
So you're here today to talk about a really cool event that you have coming up on Wednesday in Chicago, but people can watch it anywhere. And when you reached out to me about this, you said, hey, this is like, you likened it to the NFL Combine, which, by the way, I Googled this morning. When you texted me, I was like, oh, great. Yeah, I love the NFL Combine. But this is something that's never been done before. It's like a combine for pro wrestlers. So tell us what you have going on this week.
Yeah, absolutely. This Wednesday, September 4th at 7:45 p.m. Eastern, we have a really cool event coming up. And it's an event that we're partnering with DraftKings on to launch the NFL season. And you kind of said it. In the NFL, you have the NFL Combine, right? We find out who's the strongest athlete, who's the fastest, who can jump the highest, and all these things. In the pro wrestling world, we don't have that. And people always want to ask those questions. They always want to know who the strongest and the fastest is. So we are going to deliver the people just that. And we are going to do the first ever Wrestlers Combine at a wrestling show, BLP Crown and Glory. And we got some heavy hitters, all athletes that formerly either played in the MMA, NFL, all kind of sports, fitness competitors, bodybuilders, all of these things. And we're going to put everybody in the same place with a bunch of strength and speed contests, in addition to 8 big-time wrestling matches with former WWE champions. It's going to be something that the people can get behind. And most importantly, they can watch for free on YouTube on Chris Van Vliet's channel.
Fabulous. Okay, so we're looking at some video now, and we've seen you, bouncing off some ropes, doing some little moves there. What moves are we going to see the wrestlers doing? Is this what we're going to see?
Yeah, so I went in and I demoed some of these events. I think some of the people were having a hard time understanding, like, this is going to be 100% legit. And these competitors that we're bringing in, they've been training for this for weeks, and they're going to duke it out for real. But for the pro wrestling world, instead of doing the 40-yard dash, which is a staple at the NFL Combine, we're going to see who can run the ropes the fastest. So there's an agility standpoint, a quickness standpoint as well. Instead of the bench press, we're going to bring back old-fashioned arm wrestling. So this is something we got to be very careful of, because it's very easy for big, strong people like these to snap their arms in half, literally. That actually happens at these kind of events. So everyone's been training very hard to prevent that. We got this really cool one-on-one drill, your standard wrestling collar and elbow lockup, except this time we're going to see who can just knock the other person back. Very similar to one-on-one drills in football. And then we have a pretty cool secret tug-of-war style event that we haven't completely announced just yet. We're going to leave that one as a little surprise for everybody watching. But that actually might be the most intense event of the entire thing.
Okay, so why is it secret? Because you're not telling us, or because you're still figuring it out?
I love surprises, Julie. Very much I love surprises. So we got to give the people something that they're not expecting, throw them a little bit of a curveball. You can't give everybody everything ahead of the event. That's not as fun.
That's true. You have to make the people tune in. Now you have 350 wrestlers coming to this thing. Is that right?
So we Paragon Talent Group, we manage over
Okay.
350 wrestlers. We should have a sold out building over there at Logan Square in
Okay.
Chicago. As far as the wrestlers competing, I want to say, I don't know, we probably have like around 40 that'll be wrestling
Okay.
that day. It's a pretty stacked card, a lot of
Okay.
big names on it. So people are going to get their money's worth, especially when it's free to watch.
Okay. So who are some of the big names? I know obviously you'll be there. You're the big name that I know. So what other big names do we have?
Yes, to my mother, I'll be the biggest name on the card, which is pretty cool. So there's that. But outside of myself, on the men's side, we have Riddick, the former Riddick Moss, Mike Rollis, who played in the NFL, college football captain at Minnesota. His brother's actually the defensive coordinator for the Arizona Cardinals. Moose, who was a 7-year NFL starter and is now a champion over at TNA Wrestling. Jake Hager, who is an undefeated MMA fighter at Bellator and a former WWE champion, now with AEW. And Parker Boudreaux, another former football player, kind of the dark horse in this thing, I think, another big guy. But the guys' side is stacked of this combine, but I think I'm more excited about the women's side, actually, because these girls are just going to kick ass big time. But we got Mandy Sachs and the former Dana Brooke, who are both former fitness champions. Jordan Grace, who is a Georgia State powerlifting champion and is one of the strongest women I've ever met in my entire life. And Xia Li, another former WWE wrestler who's also an MMA fighter. Then you factor in the former Jinder Mahal and Mustafa Ali, Filthy Tom Lawler, a former UFC fighter, Maven and Chris Van Vliet. We got a pretty stacked card here. So a lot of big names for everybody to get behind.
I think it might have been easier for you to name who's not going to be there.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I like it. I'm into it. And this is put on by your talent group. A lot of people may not know that when you left the WWE, you now own an agency, a talent group that specializes in wrestlers. So tell us kind of how that came to be. You left the WWE, was it 2021 or 2022?
Yeah, it's 2021. In my eyes, it's kind of 2020 because my career took a really hard turn, just like so many other athletes that get injured. This time it wasn't necessarily an injury, but I got COVID really badly in 2020. And, I spent about a year on the shelf and I just couldn't get my lungs back to a competitive state. And, you know, made the decision with WWE to go ahead and part ways and move on to the next chapter of my life. Because after a year, I was still having problems breathing. There were certain days where I couldn't get enough air in to speak, couldn't lay on my back or lean against a chair because my lungs were just in such bad shape. So, again, that's why all athletes really, really need to have a plan B in place. And my plan B was essentially preparing everybody else's plan B with Paragon Talent Group, with, pro wrestling being a very underrepresented space. There's no union. There's very few agents or managers. So always had an idea to start the first ever full service management company for pro wrestlers, being able to use this business degree I've spent all that money on in Maryland and finally put it to work. But started the company with a good friend of mine, and it just took off right away. A testament to what the athletes are capable of, and the need in the space.
And you pointed at your degree back there. A lot of people may not know, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're the youngest person to ever get an MBA from the University of Maryland.
Yes, that is accurate. And it was a very funny thing because I believe at the time just about everyone had 10 years work experience. So they're coming in from their real world jobs. And there were literally days going into my MBA finance classes where I still had my football pants on because I had just gotten off the field from practice and there was no time to shower and change. And I literally had to go to class still wearing some of my stinky stuff, smelling awful. So I tried to sit in the back corner of class. But yeah, I rolled right in from my bachelor's to my MBA and was able to use my intern experience at Morgan Stanley from when I was younger as my professional experience to get in. And I was very grateful for the opportunity and worked out extremely well.
And you mentioned your experience from Morgan Stanley when you were younger. Tell people just how young that was, because again, I think this is another thing that people probably would not know about you.
I was 11 actually when I got started with Morgan Stanley. I had an aunt that worked there at the time, and she used to bring me in like after school or in the summers or whatever to come work. And she loves telling this story. But I'd go in there expecting to manage people's money, and then she'd quickly have like a boot in the butt. So I'm making photocopies and filing things, but it was cool. I got to sit in on a lot of meetings and be exposed to the business at just such a young age, and learn a lot of things that kind of were circle topics for me when I was sitting there in my business school classes. Things to listen for, things that I could actually apply from that experience, and it was just a very valuable thing, something I'm still grateful for to this day.
And you played college football, you played in the NFL. I think a lot of people, I mean, I imagine if I had the ability to be a pro athlete, I would be like, I don't need an MBA. I don't need anything else because I'm going to make all this money as a professional athlete. And so that's part of the experience that I think that probably makes you so great at representing talent and helping talent with this. How does that all work together to make your business unique in that regard?
Well, I think it's helpful to have somebody representing you that has actually been in the trenches and done all the things that you're doing, that has seen both the highs and the lows. I mean, my NFL career was cut short by an injury. My WWE, I mean, after 10 years with the WWE, I mean, in my eyes, that's still cutting me short,
Mm-hmm.
by having to end before I wanted to, at least with COVID. And you just always got to have something in your pocket, focusing on your education, being able to apply a business mindset to what you're doing, being able to monetize your brand and your career
Mm-hmm.
are things that every athlete should be aware of. And especially with the pro wrestlers, they just have so much ability. I mean, they're literal entertainers. Marketing for a company is what the job is, going out there and having to win the crowd and being able to adapt to diverse and hostile environments, and really trying to earn your spot in the card, being able to stand out to the fans for that one unique thing that you have and find a way to become special. I mean, a lot of these things are buzzwords in the business world. So being able to educate our town, or at least point them in the right direction of things to look out for, at least just give them a helping hand, even if they are proficient in these categories. It's been a really cool thing. Learned a lot from the town in the process, helping them. And again, it's just so needed in this space. It's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun, and it hurts way less than getting beat up inside of a wrestling ring, so that's cool too.
Yeah, watching some of that stuff, I'm like, ugh. I mean, those hits, that's all real. It looks the bruises are real, right?
Yeah, 300 days a year, it's real too. It's no off season, different
Right.
city every single day. I mean, if anything, it's the travel that kicks your butt sometimes even more than the matches. But yes, it is a lot. That is for sure.
Yeah. And I know you are working on another event coming up. We talked to you about this a few years ago when you had the first ever Dream Mania, which was awesome. Triple V, of course, won, which we hope Triple V is doing well. Do you talk to Triple V still? Are you guys best
Oh,
friends still?
Triple V is our guy. I talked to him yesterday, actually, and I got to call him later today because we have the big David Allen fashion show
Oh,
in
that's right.
Pittsburgh in a couple of
Mhm.
weeks. And Triple V is always the star of the show, gets out there, gets the crowd hyped up on the mic, and models the catwalk. So we're planning that event for him. But yes, we absolutely are working on the next Dream Mania event, getting Triple V back to defend his title. This time I'll have hair, unlike the video you're looking at right
It's
now. But
exciting.
yeah, we're very excited about it. We have the template from the first one. It was just received so well. I mean, the venue sold out. Just seeing the people get behind, Vincent and the Down Syndrome Foundation, and how many people supported and donated to the cause was just absolutely unbelievable. Really touching to see. It was really cool to see how many people cared and are willing to put their money where their mouth is, quite literally. So absolutely had to do a next one, and we're actually working on that right now. Probably going to be aiming for October if we can pull it off. If not, maybe November works.
Oh, so October, like a month from now.
Yeah, we're getting
Okay.
close. So
All right.
I mean, the last event we put together in, I believe, less than 2 weeks,
Yeah.
maybe 7 to 10 days. So with 2 months heads up, that should be nothing for this team.
Right. Okay. So, for folks who don't know about Dream Mania, tell us again. It raises money for the Down Syndrome Foundation, and Triple V is the first professional wrestler with Down syndrome who happens to be signed to your agency, right?
That is right. And Triple V has wrestled a few matches since then and has won them all. So he's not only looking to defend the Dream Mania title, but also his undefeated streak. Um, but yeah, this is going to be a really cool one. Yeah, aiming for October with it. But yeah, just something that I think the whole city can get behind and get really excited about. I think we're looking at partnering with Give Kids the World Village this
Oh,
time
yeah.
around. So nice little wrinkle there, but of course with the Down Syndrome Foundation, that'll be a staple. The last Dream Mania, we had kids with Down syndrome participate in every single match. Sang some songs, did some dancing, whether they were wrestling themselves or just managing. We had the kids involved with every single spot of the show, and they absolutely loved it. It was very stressful making sure no one got hurt because there's a lot of the kids first time in a wrestling ring, and there's
Right.
a lot of dangers that can happen there. But luckily, everyone walked away unscathed. So that's part of the reason why we're able to do it again.
Yeah, I think that that's always a plus. So we're happy about that. So again, I know we've got to wrap up here because you've got things to do. Mojo, I thought we hung up on you, which would be so rude. And, I would never do that to you. So it was an accident. So again, tell people where they can stream this.
Absolutely. Go to YouTube on Chris Van Vliet's YouTube channel. It'll be live and free Wednesday, September 4th at 7:45 p.m.
And you're hosting.
I'm hosting. I'm gonna have everybody hyped up. So get ready. Hopefully, you guys don't end the stream and kick me off like Julie just did because I'm very loud and obnoxious.
We would never. Mojo, thank you so much for taking time out. Like I said, I know you're getting ready to hop on a plane here. So I know you're busy, and I'm sure we will catch up with you again when Dream Mania is announced so we can cover that too.
Oh, absolutely. Julie, thank you so much for having me back on. Thank you to the whole Channel 6 family. I love you guys, and we'll see you at the next one.
All right, Mojo. Bye.